1947. The months leading up to the Indian independence were of huge significance, for it did not lead to the birth of one nation, but led to the birth of two separate nations. Behind me, about 2 kilometers that way, is the Wagah border across which lies Pakistan. On the cusp of celebrating India's 70th independence, we embark on a unique journey celebrating India's cultural diversity, plurality, across 3,000 kilometers of Indian territory as we head eastwards. The first stop on our route is the city of Amritsar, just 30 odd kilometers east of the Wagah border. In the fading light of the Amritsari sky, the Golden Temple beckons, and we readily answer its serene call. The temple itself is located in the middle of a large water tank called Amrit Sarovar and shines like a beacon of guidance to the thousands of devotees who throng the holy grounds each day. A hop, skip and jump from the serenity of the Golden Temple lies the hallowed grounds of the infamous Jallianwala Bagh. On the festive day of Baisakhi in the spring of 1919, Brigadier General Dyer marched his troops into this area through this narrow lane. Over the next 10 minutes, his troops fired 1,650 rounds of ammunition on an unarmed crowd of people who were peacefully protesting the Rollat Act. The area has now been turned into a garden with a memorial and is a popular haunt for locals as well as tourists. In the next part of this wonderful series, catch us as we ride on the Indian border challenge towards the Bangladesh border nearly 2,000 kilometers away in Taki.
Having made it to the capital city from the Wagah border, we made our way to Lutyens, Delhi, named after the British architect who is responsible for much of the historic construction in these parts. The India Gate dominates this area of the city and houses the Amar Jawan Jyoti, a silent tribute to the thousands that laid down their lives in the struggle for a free India. At the other end of the tree-lined Rajpath, the Rashtrapati Bhavan stands tall and imposing atop Raisina Hill. This was once the seat of British power in the subcontinent, but now the tricolour waves proudly from atop its walls. Behind me is this glorious stretch of road we know as the Yamuna Expressway as we continue our border-to-border journey from the Indo-Pakistan border in the west to the Indo-Bangladesh border in the east. We are now travelling from Delhi towards Kanpur. The Yamuna Expressway stretched on and we cruised along this slab of highway for 165 kilometers, slowing only at the toll booths. The Indian Scout was perfectly suited to this kind of riding and the miles disappeared swiftly under its fat tires. Once in Kanpur, we stopped by the railway station and rolled up to the magnificent Kanpur Memorial Church. This church, originally called All Souls Cathedral, was built by the British in 1875 and still stands tall, a testament to the resilient construction of the period. The next day, we found ourselves heading further into Uttar Pradesh towards the sacred town of Varanasi along the banks of the river Ganga. The strong spiritual energy of this place hung heavy in the air as we headed to the Asi Ghat to witness the Ganga Aarti. The Ganga Aarti is an evening ritual performed daily on the banks of the holy river. The ritual, with roots dating back thousands of years, has now evolved into a choreographed ceremony performed by several sadhus and attracts several devotees daily. From Varanasi, we had almost 700 kilometers to cover and 3 state borders to cross before we entered West Bengal. But the Indian Scout was built to devour miles, and that's exactly what she did. Our next stop was Kolkata, formerly known as Calcutta and the capital of British India till 1911, evident by the colonial architecture in the older parts of the city. The Victoria Memorial was one of our stops. Built from 1906 to 1921, this monument dedicated to the memory of Queen Victoria is now a museum that attracts tourists from all over the world. We also stopped for a quick bite at Fleury's, the famed breakfast place that has been a landmark on Calcutta's Park Street since 1927. From Kolkata, it was a 70-kilometer dash on less than perfect roads to Taki, on the bank of the Ichamoti River, with Bangladesh in sight across the water. Throughout this ride, the Indian Scout made the perfect companion, always ready to head out and munch up the highway. The bike easily conquered good roads as well as bad, and got us across the country without so much as a hiccup. Do subscribe to our channel to keep up with our future adventures.